during the special election in May of 2017. I worked on that election with the very just amazing Rob Quist, who was 4 points short of winning that race. It's tragic, absolutely tragic, but maybe better for him that he didn't win, because probably would have ruined his really nice life that he has. But that's between Mike Cooney and funny names here, because Cooney hunting or whatever you want to call it, not in an offensive way, raccoon hunting. He's a Democrat, and then you have Greg Gianforte. What people are worried about in Montana is essentially some weird, quirky things happening. There is public land in that state. This is what oftentimes people say is the difference between Montana and California. People have the same access to some of the best parts of the state, whether they have money or they don't. That is sort of what's at stake in this race. Greg Gianforte moved in from New Jersey a long time ago, and it's been known, and he'll lie and deny this till the cows come home, that he sued to prevent access to a river, the Gallatin River, which is behind his house. And that's a big no-no in Montana. You don't want to erode those kinds of freedoms in a place like that. It eventually changes everything. It's hard to understand that, because a lot of the places that we live are well established now, and we don't know what they were like when people could make decisions about what was going to happen to the land. But in Montana, the future is not yet known. It's still being decided. And so Mike Cooney is actually, I guess, a conservative in this race, in the sense that he wants to keep things good and somewhat the way that they are. And there's some other weird things in Montana. Like, if your car is older than 11 years old, you can get a permanent license plate forever. You pay $300, depending upon how much your car is worth, and you never have to pay again. And what is expected to happen if Greg Gianforte becomes governor there, he will lower taxes on those people from out of state that are coming in to attract more of them, attract more business. But he will raise these kinds of fees, because if you look at it the way other states do, where they're kind of like, well, why are we doing this? This is money that we're throwing out. We should be taxing these cars, especially because they pollute the most. And the reason that Montana hasn't done that is they actually really do care in a certain way about, if you don't have a lot of money, you can still do well there. And that's increasingly been hard. And do well means you don't have a lot of stuff, but you can have a piece of shit car, and you can still get out to the water, and you can still get out to the forest. So that's why people are there. And in a way that levels the playing field, literally, for everybody. And so that is what's at stake. I don't know if all you care about this stuff, but I like good old traditional political reporting, where we used to go around. There's a reporter, David Bowder, from the Washington Post. He's no longer with us. He actually used to write stories like this. There are a few that are still out there that are doing it. I want to bring that back. Say Biden wins, we're going to be doing some things a little bit more old school around here, hopefully in a good way. But it's good to understand the issues and what is happening in these different places, and not assuming that a person wins or loses based on Donald Trump or based on the things that are happening in your community. I still emphatically believe politics are local. And Montana is a really interesting place, because even if you don't live there, to some degree, I hope that you get a chance to go there and maybe visit. There's plenty of space. And we want to make sure that those kinds of environments, those places, are protected, so that you and your kids and their grandkids can see what it's like when the animals still can roam free somewhere, and they don't put up a strip mall next to Greg Gianforte's house. So that's what's at stake there. Again, want to be honest here. I'm in San Francisco right now. Ooh, bad word in Montana. But I spend most of my time now, whenever I can, up in Livingston, Montana. And if you have any questions about this, or you still are listening, I appreciate it. And if we have any more things to tell you about, we'll be watching this race this evening.